Let's see if they actually come through this supply zone right here. I'm very curious. Let's see if they actually come through. So what you can see here clearly is that we have some liquidity just under this supply zone right here. So therefore most of the time the liquidity gets taken later on. So it takes the liquidity and then just instantly go to the supply zone and then reverses down. At least this is this is actually very good for us. So we know if that's the case, that it's a high likelihood that it just grabs the liquidity and then actually reverses down. Let's have a look. It can also just right here also just turn around, right? We have this zone right here also. We need to take this in consideration. However, there's a lot of liquidity above it, right? So therefore, before we make a trade, we need to make sure that there is another confirmation. So we need to see something like this right now, where we actually break structure, come back here, and then, like, you know, move forward from there on, something like that. So we need to look for I mean, it is a clear rejection. However, the question is for how long, right? The liquidity here is super important to understand. So the liquidity here and then the supply zone right there. Yeah, we have to take that in consideration. I think we're seeing a clear rejection right now. I see more weakness coming. This is very important. right? As long as I see liquidity above a supply zone, I'm not convinced. So I need to wait for extra confirmation if you want me to actually take an aggressive trade right here. To be honest, looking at this chart right now, seeing this break right here, the liquidity that built up here, this would give me directly an aggressive entry right there, like 100%. I think it's on the 30-minute. Yeah, right here. But I will still put my stop loss a bit higher. So I will put my stop loss aggressively at around, 20, 21 pips. With the stop loss right there. So around a 6-to-1 ratio. So let's see, guys. Right now we're seeing a clear rejection, right? So, but on the other hand, it's consolidating. I want to see a break of structure right now. Otherwise, I'm not content, really. Because every time when it looks to go down, it recovers immediately, right? So, yeah. Actually, this is what I would like to see right now. A clear break of structure right there. So just to give you guys a heads up right here, either I'll wait for a confirmation right now on the 1 minute. So the thing what I want to see right now is because they took liquidity here on the 5 minute. If you look at this, so the reason why I wanted to go in here because a lot of liquidity was built on right here. There was still some liquidity right there. This supply zone is holding at this particular moment right now. But I'm not convinced yet, and the reason why I'm not convinced yet is because I clearly see liquidity above this zone right here, and I see that this zone right there is also not this also clear supply zone right here. So there is a gap, there's a little bit of imbalance there, and there's liquidity built there. So this is the only way I would go aggressive, and therefore I would go in here, take profit to this zone right there, because there is some liquidity around this place as well. Stop loss just above this area, around about 21 pips, a little bit like lower, like 20 pips, giving us a nice 6-to-1 aggressively. Or right now we're seeing a rejection already, go to the lower time frame, and now actually wait for a break here in structure, coming back down, creating a break of structure right here, covering this liquidity right there, then come back up towards a supply zone right there, and then come back down from this range. Like this would be these were my two options at least, to join or to enter this position. same thing here. This is great. Like, this is what you want to see. Like, when you entering a supply zone, always look for potential liquidity, like just under it. So many times a lot of shorters get induced to short earlier, right? Therefore the early shorters get liquidated, and a lot of people that went long also went liquidated as well. So for example here, like what you see here is clearly that a lot of longers were induced to go long right there until it reversed price. Some of them got liquidated already, the other ones stayed in. So that's why we're seeing a rejection here right now, because the people that went long here are closing their positions right now. But still, there are a lot of early shorters in the market also right now at this particular moment. So you can clearly see that there's also a lot of liquidity built just in between this supply zone and this range, this small range right here. Of course, in combination with this with this imbalance right here as well. So let's highlight that too. All right. Like the slower it goes, the less exciting I get. That's for sure. One, 5, 6, 2, 5. Nah, man. Let's see, let's see. Is there something else we can listen to? It's a bit stupid that you can only listen to this kind of music, right? What about this? Yeah, okay. Maybe this is better. Okay, there we go, guys. Massive drop right now. This is good. This is a very, very good sign. I think it's going for this liquidity right here. What's up, Ryun? How are you, man? You are my loyal fan, you know that, right? Thanks for that, bro. Appreciate it. Um, what about UC? Yeah, that was a trade I took yesterday. However, let me clean it up a little bit. Yeah, there is nothing much to say about UC right now. I mean, it's a bit choppy, you know. I see like a nice trend getting formed for retail investors right here. So sooner or later, it's gonna break down. However, um, there is still liquidity. The liquidity here is taken right now around this range. You could say that there is some liquidity right here still. So you could say that, you know, they're taking out these highs right here. Maybe to then reverse down, fill and then go down, something like that. So like, you know, something like breaking these highs. Then then just coming here, stagnating a little bit. Trying up and then a major down. Breaking structure, coming back up in the range again, then coming back down, something like that. But right now we're seeing a clear rejection right here in this range, so yeah, that's pretty much it. We're right now just waiting for a some sort of reversal right here. Because I believe still that we are eventually, coming back to just cover this liquidity. I'm not convinced that this is it, right? So I think that there is still a lot of liquidity right here in this range. So keep that in mind. But I think first, before we go there, I think it makes the most sense if you just go up first, start consolidating around this range right there, then come back down massively, and then, you know, something like that. I think this zone should not be enough. I think this zone should not be. It should not be it, in my personal opinion. But still, a lot of opportunities today, man. That's for sure. We have wow. Okay. Boom. This trade got instantly filled right now. This trade got instantly filled. So this is great. This is great. The reason why I took this trade is obviously because we saw a downtrend. We saw finally, after a pretty long time, the first higher high getting created, creating the change of character. Then we saw this, you know, demand zone getting formed. Of course, it bounced from this demand zone, came back up. There was liquidity right here, came back up, then came back down. Liquidity right here, came back up. Liquidity right there. A lot of imbalance right here, right now. But keep in mind that there was also liquidity down here all the time, and a lot of imbalance are down here as well. And this was the first demand zone, you know, that was not even tested yet or mitigated yet. So therefore, yeah, I just waited for this zone to come in right here, bounce from this area. And now definitely I think it's gonna either fill in this imbalance and then come back again, or it just shoots through straight away. So we need to see first right here what's happening. Boom. Oh shit. Major move right there. Major move right there. This is exactly the reason why I put wait for confirmation here as well. Just because there's liquidity right here, right? You can clearly see a nice trend getting formed. So, you know, a lot of traders, they trade this trend, and therefore there's all their stop losses are right there, right in this area right here. And if there is a supply zone then here, they don't want to enter this zone because you know that there's a lot of stop losses here. You know they love liquidity. And if they love liquidity, they take your stop loss. They want to take the stop losses, right? So they want to go up and then come back down. But there's a bigger zone above it as well. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So wait for confirmation always. And how do you see the confirmation trade? So first of all, you wait for it to come into the zone. Then you look for an area. You look at the last low, and if it breaks this last low right here, for example this area, then you can you can start looking for a supply zone in this range, and then you know go for further lower targets. And it will give you literally a 1 to 5 pip stop loss. It's insane. So you can risk the same amount, but you can invest 3 or 4 times as much, which is of course very, very, very good. Let's go. So yeah, I really, really wait for a lower low here. This is the only way. So yeah, there are like for sure like I'm looking at two areas right now. So number one is CJ, and the reason why I'm looking at CJ is just purely because of the liquidity that's built here, and then the supply zone that's right there. So this is number one. Then we have of course CC. So the reason why I'm looking at this one is clearly because we saw a beautiful range here of consolidation, followed by a huge break and a lot of imbalance right here, inefficiency, or not inefficiency, but just a lot of liquidity right there. And also I'm waiting for a confirmation, and the reason why is because there's also liquidity built above this range right here. And then obviously this supply zone has never been touched before. So what could be, what I would only go in aggressively is, for example, it goes to this zone right there, well, to this area right here, then start to, you know, create some sort of double top and then come back down. This is the only way I would go aggressive. Here I really want to see a lower low, so I want to see first this low getting broken, followed by a retracement right there, and then a lower low. Let's go. So we have CC, we have CJ, we have GU. I'm in a trade right now, I'm in a long right now. For GU, we have my favorite, the NASDAQ right here. I think this is beautiful, and the reason why I really like this is because clearly, you know, there is just so much liquidity here. So many short longers got trapped there as well. A lot of people that went long got induced here, and boom, straight away down. Liquidity there. So I expect some, you know, more liquidity getting built up and then coming back down. However, again, the same scenario. I have to wait for a confirmation entry because you see there's liquidity build up here. This supply zone has never been touched before. And again, this is in the supply zone. I would just go in aggressive blindly because of this range. This is a beautiful range right here. 4-hour candles, I don't see anything wrong with that. So definitely I would enter this area as well. So we have a lot of opportunities in the market now. Like really, there are a lot of opportunities right now in the market. Just have to choose them wisely. This one, very, very interesting. Liquidity getting built here a lot, right? We're seeing literally a beautiful range. We're getting liquidity built on both sides actually right here as well. So what I think could happen is that price shoots up here, takes out this liquidity, fills up the imbalance, reaches this supply zone, then immediately reverses to take out the liquidity underneath and to go to this area of imbalance right underneath here. So pretty much this range right here. There we go. $23. So keep in mind, this is like a typical trend line on 1 minute. A lot of retail traders trading this trend line, so they're gonna go long here. This builds up liquidity around here, but sometimes it can go shoot down before it can come back down as well, so keep that in mind. We want to make sure that you see a lot of long people go long right now. So we want to see a break now of this structure, then come back down. And what we can do here, we can also see beautiful let's see if we can find a beautiful area. Yeah, beautiful area of definitely resistance right now. Look at this. Clearly resistance right here. Clearly resistance right here. Support right there. Resistance right here, support right there, resistance right there. Yeah, perfect. So we're good, we're good. I think we're fine for now. Let's break this trend line. Boom. Wow. What happened there? Wow, 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 wow. What happened there? Wow. What happened there, man? You should definitely wait like 10, 15 minutes until until like literally the news is over and all the orders has been placed before you actually do that. This is crazy, man. It said, right, actually greater than forecast is good for currency, so it was clearly greater, and therefore we saw a huge explosion. So wow. Hey, it is what it is. Let's move on. Another beautiful lesson learned. I tell you, to be honest, man, this was crazy. Really, this was pretty insane. It proves how much impact that it actually has on price, right? So Yeah, I'm not a guy that like just trades. I would never trade on news. Like honestly, I would never trade on news because you can never win it anyways. There are tons of like algorithms and like EAs, etc., that just purely focus on trading news, right? So whenever the news pops up, they pick up the price and then instant buy, right? So an instant sell. You can never beat that. You could never beat that unless you're guessing beforehand if it actually, is better for price or not, right? Unless you gamble, that's it. Or you were really sure that of a certain outcome. This is the moment where you can already put some orders. You could go into the market beforehand. Otherwise, it just doesn't make any sense to trade news, in my opinion. But if you're going to trade a pair purely based on technical analysis, and let's say we're using the smart money concept strategy that I use, right? Then I still need to look at Forex Factory to just see if the pairs that I'm interested in have some news upcoming, because I don't want to trade the news. I either want to wait until the news is over or yeah, just don't trade it. That's it. Wow. Massive dump, right? So on the other hand, you can clearly see that it was the perfect timing. So like I said to you guys, like a lot of consolidation around this range right here. So a lot of consolidation right here. A lot of liquidity get built up right here, right? Didn't hit the supply zone yet. Boom, news came out. What happened? Instantly reached for the supply zone and now it's retracing from this range. So it took all the liquidity from this area, hit the supply zone and is now reversing. So you could place an aggressive trade here beforehand because you knew that there was a lot of liquidity built beforehand, right? Like equal highs. In general, a lot of liquidity build up right here. So right now we're seeing a rejection. So if you want to trade this, then just wait until it breaks down lower, come back up again, and then move forward down. So like you can already see a nice area on the one, yeah, like on the 2 minute. You can already see that this range right here is a beautiful range to join, right? So like either this area right here, or you take the 1 minute if you want to take less risk and just go from this range right there. And then just go for a short right here. 10 pips. 11 pips. And then look for targets. Let's see, round about like this range. Yeah, look for this area right here, like round about right here. So this would give you a 20-to-1 ratio. 20-to-1 right now. Boom, the news is done. The news is gone. It mitigated into this supply zone. It took out all the liquidity from the consolidation range just under the zone and is right now retracing, but we still need to see a lower low right now. We need to see a complete break of structure, like preferably something like this, really. And then coming back up and then coming back down. Because it can still just, you know, come back and then just go further. Therefore, we're waiting for extra confirmation. So let's see if we can at least close below this, below this zone right here. We need to see at least a breakdown right now. So at least I can break under this zone, come back up, come back down again, etc. So I'm willing to take this trade now for sure. But let's see if it breaks down. Oh wow. Same counts for CJ as well. Took out the liquidity right here. But for CJ, we need to see the same thing, right? So we need to come back down, create a break of structure, then come back up, and then come back down. That's the only way. It can easily just move forward right now and just break and then go on. That's why we need to take we need to be very careful right now with both of them. Okay, this is still a beautiful trade I'm looking for right now, but you see, it's just like, this is why I need to wait for a break of structure first. Same thing, we cannot take this trade right now until we see at least something like this, right? then maybe I would say yes, but now no chance. I mean, you could take this trade if you want to right now. There's a lot of imbalance in this area right here. But where are you gonna put your stop loss right now? See, maybe it bounces from here. Therefore, I don't like it. Therefore, I just want to wait for a confirmation also right here. Come back up and then move forward. You know. Man, it was a crazy move. I mean, it wants to go. It wants to go, right? It wants to go. So let's create a lower low. I think it's gonna create a lower low. First of all, to just recover the imbalance right now. Yeah, and then definitely this is a great entry. Definitely a great entry. The reason why I like this is because this new supply zone is actually in the bigger zone as well. And it gives me more confidence because when that happens, it's actually a double confluence, right? It's actually double resistance in this case as well. So yeah, let's see. We're gonna take this trade no matter what for sure. If we create a lower low. By the way, look at my Ftmo challenge right now that I completed. I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, this actually went. This pretty. This looks pretty choppy, man. Very, very choppy to me. We passed the stage. However, it went. It's just extremely, extremely choppy right here. Look at this. So clearly we went up right here. We were up like 10 grand. Then we came back down all the way down again. Then we came back up. We came back down. We came back up. We came back down. And I'm literally after like, I think it was like 10 trading days. I was still pretty much at the beginning. I was like, wow, this is never gonna work out. And then boom, I took some monster trades. And there we go. So yeah, in that 13 trading days, so that is pretty good. With a win rate of 50%. You know, actually this is not completely correct. And the reason why is because sometimes I took literally $10 losses, $20 losses when I was not consent with my trades, right? I was not happy with my trade, or I closed my trade, or I closed my trade on break even, and then it still went, because it's a market order, right? It still went slightly into a minus, and therefore I lost some, you know, some trades. So pretty much all my break even trades were they counted as losses as well. So the win rate should in essence be way higher in general, and also my RRR should be way higher as well. But for sure that one big trade on July that saved me. Mainly because of you know, that pretty much that risk that I took. So when I start out, I actually start with a maximum of around 0.5%. 0.5% risk, and the higher I get, the more risk I take. So it's not that like you know, the lower I get, the more risk I take. No, the lower I get, the less risk I take. So when I'm, for example, you start with 200 grand, and when you go under it, I immediately halve my risk down. So I go to maybe, you know, 0.5% risk. If I'm down 5 grand or 6 grand, I maybe go to 0.25% risk. Build up my portfolio, get more confident again, and only use my profits to increase my risk. This was my strategy, and it worked pretty well for me. Beautiful. Beautiful zone right here as well.